Hi everyone, let me ask you a question. Have you ever tried to explain what you do to your family and friends and gotten a blank look? Or is fear holding you and your online business back right now? Now, if you answered yes to either of those, you're going to love this month's free newsletter. How do you get a copy? Head on over to writecom.com now. And by the way, if you want to make more money with your online business, you are going to love our coffee bean money making idea inside. So head over to Writecom, that's WRITECOME.com, and you'll find the newsletter waiting for you over there. Hi, this is Barry here, and you are very, very welcome to today's podcast episode from Writecom.com. And today's podcast episode is entitled, There Is Only Now. Now, this podcast episode might seem a little bit different than some of the episodes I have recorded recently because it's a bit of a kind of I don't know how you would say, it's a bit of a kind of off-topic kind of thing, but it is something I think that all of us need to be aware of, and I think it's relevant to us who are creating content, who are writing, creating videos or whatever. Now, I was watching TikTok the other day, and there was a man that was explaining about how a lot of us, unfortunately, kind of get lost out of the now moment. You know, probably this past few moments, you have probably been out of the now moment. You have probably been projecting yourself into the future. Maybe you are thinking of finishing up your work right now, or maybe you're thinking about finishing your walk, or whatever you're doing. So you might have projected yourself into the future. Or maybe you projected yourself into the past. You're remembering maybe something that happened this morning, or, you're something from the day before, or maybe you're thinking about maybe a project you're working on last week. But you may have kind of projected yourself back into the past. But as this man was kind of explaining in his video, there is no real, past and future. Now, we all know that, deep down we know, yes, the past is the past, the future is the future, and, we can't hold anything in our hand from the past or in the future because it's almost like it's like a mist, it's something that we can't grab onto. And the only moment we have right now is the now moment. But he was kind of explaining it a little bit further, and it did kind of blow my mind for a moment. And what he was saying was that when you think about the past and the future, the past is actually only thoughts. Now, whatever past you are probably, thinking about right now, it's just a thought you have. It's just some kind of recording you have of that moment, of maybe what you had for breakfast, or, what happened yesterday, or, what happened last year, or when you were growing up. That is just a kind of a recording. It's just a thought. And that kind of blew me away for a moment because a lot of us kind of believe that, that there is some database, there is some data bank, there is almost kind of a hard drive somewhere that has our past on it. But it's just a collection of thoughts. Again, he said to the future is the exact same thing too. It's not a physical thing. We can't look and see something off in the future. Right now, if you are projecting yourself into the future, you are expressing a thought of what could happen in the future. That maybe you will have maybe scrambled eggs for breakfast, or that you will have your word count done today, or that you will have your videos done for today, or whatever it is. But it's almost a kind of a thought in the future, and it's a thought of how we would like it to be. But we're not guaranteed that the future is going to play it that way. That is just our kind of guesswork, or just kind of assumption of what's going to happen. And as he was saying, like, when you really kind of think about it, there is only really right now, this very moment. As you're listening to this moment, that is the now moment. Now, it'll pass in a few seconds or even in a millisecond, and we'll be into a new now. But that is the only real time we have. That a lot of us think that we are, almost on a kind of it's almost like a time scale, or kind of a line that, we have a starting point and an end point in time. But there is no real starting point, and there is no really end point. They are just thoughts that we are expressing back. We're just thinking backwards to, that time when we maybe fell off our bike when we were, very young, or maybe our first day at school, or meeting our girlfriend for the first day, or our boyfriend, or maybe getting married. Those are just, thoughts. They're not on a kind of a line. There's no kind of recording of all those moments, except probably in us. Well, maybe we might have some kind of digital recording, or we might have some photographs that kind of record that moment in time. But there is no kind of scale like from 0 up to 100 or from birth to death. that it's just made up of a collection of nows, just now after now after now after now after now. And as I said, it really kind of blew my mind, because maybe like you, I was thinking of, that there is past and there is a future, but it's only really thoughts. It's just thoughts we have, and all we have right now is our now. And maybe instead of, unfortunately, we still probably do it, even though we know these things right now, we still kind of lose ourselves in our past. We do still kind of lose ourselves in the future, where maybe if you're writing a book right now, maybe you're still thinking about that criticism of your last book, or maybe you're thinking right now of finishing off this book or working on the second one, and you're kind of throwing yourself off into the future. But there is no kind of future. You're just throwing yourself off into thoughts. So maybe instead of kind of getting lost in the past or in the past or in the future, because we can't actually take any action in either of those, maybe it's just time we need to focus on now. What can we do right now? What is the daily thing I need to do? What is my word count right now, or whatever it is, and just focus on the now, because this now moment is the only one that we can take action in. I can't record a podcast episode in the past. I can't do one in the future. I can only do the one where I'm just speaking to you right now. So do with that whatever you want to, but it did kind of blow my mind a little bit, because we always think of the past and the future as something that is concrete, something that is recorded somewhere, but it's only a thought. It's only a thought from the past and a thought from the future. So do with that what you will. Have a lovely day. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us today. If you'd like more from the Writecome.com podcast, be sure to subscribe now for more tips, tricks, and ideas you can use to make more money from your words. See you in the next episode.